Hi, welcome to the Psychic Pastry Chef, where two unlikely worlds merge. You may know me from my other YouTube channel, Pam Georgel, where I post monthly psychic tarot readings and psychic crystal readings, and the special videos I record that are psychic readings for my Vimeo On Demand channel. Here in these videos, I will be showing you how to make some great desserts, cakes, and pastries that you can create at home that will impress your friends and family, and I'll be giving you psychic messages for all the zodiac signs as we're making these desserts. So I tuned in psychically and got messages on what desserts each zodiac sign would enjoy. And today we're going to be focusing on Libra. Libra, I heard that you really love desserts that are reminiscent of fond childhood memories and give you fond memories from the past, such as mom's apple pie, and also seasonal desserts such as strawberry shortcake in the summer, and also ice cream cakes, eclairs, cream puffs, white chocolate cheesecake with raspberries and fresh raspberry sauce, mousses, and charlottes and puddings. So here I decided out of my repertoire of desserts that today we will make a baked apple tart. Are you ready to get started? Let's go. So the first thing you want to do whenever you're baking anything and you're going to bake it right away, make sure you preheat your oven and have everything in its place. In culinary school, we call that mise en place, everything in its place. You want all your ingredients ready before you start. So the first thing that you have to do in this recipe is to make the dough. And you want to start with room temperature butter. And this is half a pound of butter, and you're going to put it in your mixer. And you want to use a dough hook. You could also make this by hand if you want, if you don't have a mixer. And so you want to start creaming the room temperature butter. So now I'm going to, while this is creaming, next step you want to do is add sugar. And the sugar is half a cup of sugar. Okay, so you want to get that really well mixed, and you should always stop and scrape down your bowl because everything's going to collect at the bottom, and you want your dough to be nice, even, and well mixed. So always good to do that. All right. All right, so now you're going to add your flour. So make sure you add it on the lowest speed your mixer setting is. Okay. All right, so now I've got my ingredients in there for the dough. You might want to stop it, give it a little scrape again before you start to mix it. Now, this recipe is for 2 9-inch tarts. So if you want to cut it in half, you can do that and just make enough for one. But if you have 2 tart pans, you could always stick one in the freezer. So the next time you want to make some kind of tart, it's already in the freezer for you. So this recipe is broken down from a restaurant size recipe and a bakery size recipe. So it is actually going to require 1.5 eggs. So I know that's rather hard to judge, so I'm mixing them together. And now we're going to add 1.5 eggs. Actually, I'm using them all because it looks fine. Okay. So now we got a dough. Hooray. It's looking good, coming together. Okay, so you don't need to mix it all the way in the mixer. You can take it out of the mixer and mix the rest of it on the table because you really don't want to overmix this dough. So put a little flour here. Get it together here. Because if you overwork the dough in the mixer, it's going to become too tough. So let's Okay, so that's come together nicely as a nice dough. So I'm going to take this out and we are going to roll it out. But actually, what's best is for this dough to rest overnight or for a few hours in the refrigerator before you use it. So I actually have some other dough I already prepared that I can roll out here. So I don't need to use this batch. It can rest. And so while I'm doing this, I'm going to look into a psychic message for Libra. You're going through some changes in 2018, Libra. Some unexpected things may pop up for you where you may need to consult a lawyer, a doctor, or some professional of some sort. I do feel there's going to be a great deal of stress and pressure alleviated for you in 2018. So whatever pops up, if you get those professionals to look in on what's going on with you or how they can help you, I feel it's going to alleviate a lot of stress and pressure for you, Libra. You may start doing things out of the box, like stepping out of the box and doing things differently than what you normally did. Okay, so now, Libra, we are going to move on to the next step where I'm going to roll out the dough for the tart. But as I said, I'm going to wrap these two up and save them for future tarts that I'm going to make because they do need to rest. Okay, so now I'm going to roll out the dough for the baked apple custard tart. And as I said, this is one that I made previously because it really should rest in the refrigerator. So you want to get it covered with flour, cover your surface really well because it's a very sticky dough. It can be. So you don't want it to stick. So while I'm getting ready to roll out this dough and I'm getting it reworked, I'm going to look into messages for the sign of Scorpio. If you have any family member that's been giving you any problems, Scorpio, I feel in the past, doesn't have to be right now, I feel you may lash out and strike back at them. You may have some verbal things to say to them or in some manner. So that comes up for Scorpios in 2018. You may also have some cash that gets given to you, Scorpio. I pick up cash. Now, this could be awarded to you from a lawsuit or some kind of settlement in a divorce. It could also be an inheritance or a friend family member giving you cash, but that also is coming up for Scorpios. So make sure, guys, that you dust this really well with flour because you don't want it to stick. Now I'm going to get messages for Sagittarius. Some of you Sagittarians have a new baby that's going to be born either to you or somebody in your family in 2018. So I'm going to use this spatula to make sure this doesn't stick to the table. And then I've sprayed this pan with some butter spray, but you can also use nonstick pans if you can find some nonstick tart pans. Some of you Sagittarians may also be looking to reside in a new place. You might be looking for a new home. I see you being skeptical about a purchase, skeptical about buying something that feels to me like a living space. So we'll see what messages are going to come up now for Capricorns. An interesting deal looks like it's going to be struck between you and somebody, Capricorn. This could be a business deal of some sort if you own your own business or if you work for another company. It could be that. You also may be doing some troubleshooting, Capricorn, for family members where you're deflecting some things. Like if you have an elderly parent that's not well and they need your assistance and advice, or, you know, maybe they have to go into a nursing home or they need special care, or it could be some other kind of family member, Capricorn. I see you doing some, like, you're kind of like coming into the rescue, doing some troubleshooting for family members. Now, I doubled over the edge of this crust because you do want a strong foundation. You don't have to do that. You could have just made one, I could have made one single layer, but I double it up because you want that stability in this tart because it's going to have apples and a custard that you're going to pour over top of it. So it's always good to get a strong foundation. Okay, see that? So what I like to do is I refrigerate it first for a few minutes, or you could stick it in the freezer just to get it nice and stable before you start the rest of the apple tart. Okay, so now we're going to get the apples ready for this apple custard tart. And I like to use Granny Smith apples because they have a nice little sour bite to them. And you've got the sweet pastry crust and the sweet custard. So this is a good coupling. So while I peel these apples, I'm going to look into messages for the sign of Aquarius. I feel that Aquarians have something big that's going to happen for them in 2018, like kind of life-changing in a positive way. So this could be getting married, this could be getting a new job, starting a new business, whatever would be big for you, Aquarius. Big change, big things happening in 2018. Some of you may actually move to a different state or to a different location. And this could be because of some of the life-changing events that are going on. That comes up here for you, Aquarians. While I finish peeling these apples, I'm going to look into the sign of Pisces. Excellent marks, high grades, I hear. So whatever you're doing, Pisces, in 2018, you're going to be getting, like if it's a job review, you're going to get high marks in that. If it's any tests or anything that you need to take for any licensing or permits, you're going to, aces here, going to do really well in 2018. Also comes up like finding a newfound friend, Pisces. This could be a new friend. It could also be a new love. But it comes up, I hear the words newfound friend. So that's good news for you, Pisces. There's somebody that comes in that looks like they're going to be a new friend for you. So I've peeled these apples. Okay, now that the apples are peeled, I'm going to slice them, and I like to use a serrated knife. Now, some people might not agree with that and think that's a weird choice, but you can get the slices extra super thin for the apple tarts using a serrated knife, but whatever knife you feel comfortable with. So while I'm cutting these apples, I'm going to look into psychic messages for the sign of Aries. Wow, upstanding person. Someone comes in to give you an award or a reward. So I get like, you've got some positive things here happening in 2018. And some of you Aries might be actually finding yourself getting a substantial raise or an increase in your salary. Because I do see that Aries like to be seen and have recognition. And I do feel that in 2018, many of you Aries are going to find that you're having some really good recognition. Now I'm going to take out the cores, and while I do that, I'm going to look into the sign of Taurus. I see and hear Tauruses are going to be learning a new trick or two coming in for you Tauruses in 2018. You might be taking classes in something, developing your skills in some manner by taking some training. Could be advanced classes, but I get learning a thing or two for you Tauruses in 2018. I do feel that Tauruses are also going to have finding out some like really pertinent and important information that's going to be very grounding for you in 2018 as well. Look out in the spellings and dealings and writings of any contracts you sign. Make sure your name is even spelled correctly, or that, like, because I get like the way things are spelled, and it could be, you know, just how it's written, but in any of those ways, Taurus. And now we're going to slice these apples extra thin for the tarts. So, as I said, I like to use a serrated knife, but you can use whatever knife you like. But I find I can get the slices really thin when I use a serrated knife. Now, you don't want to slice all of these apples because in the center, you need to leave 2/4 like this. So leave 2/4 unsliced. You'll see why. So now while I'm slicing these apples, I'm going to look into the sign of Gemini. Gemini, I feel like you're going to finally get something off the ground in 2018. This very well could be a new business, but it could be a new love relationship, but getting something off the ground comes up. I also feel that Geminis are going to be putting a lot of thought into things that you're going to be doing, like a lot of intellectualizing and figuring out what your next steps are comes up. Some of you may have a lot of on your plate in the year of 2018 where you are actually talking to lawyers or contract negotiations or just like a lot of, but it feels like for big plans. So now I'm going to look into the sign of Cancer. Cancers, you may have something that's a little out of balance with your throat chakra. So if you're having any kind of bouts with laryngitis or any problems with your thyroid, you might want to get that looked into because I feel like hoarseness or laryngitis coming up for you Cancers. So now what I'm going to do is get the tart and put these apples in it, and we'll get moving along on this apple tart. And now we're going to start putting the apple slices into the tart, and I'm going to continue to look into Cancer's sign. And as you can see, you just want to overlap them, and you can really make any pattern that you want. You could go on the outside edge and go in, if you like a flower, if you want it that way. This is the way. Ever since when I graduated Culinary Institute in 1982, and started working in Philadelphia in Rittenhouse Square, this, as an assistant pastry chef, this is the way we made that tart there, and I brought it with me every place I've ever owned or worked since then. So I like to make it in the same design. So I'm going to continue to look into the sign of Cancer. Cancer, I see some secrets being revealed to you or some secrets coming out. So if there's been anything you were suspicious of or anything that has been kept hidden, I feel that you will be finding out about it, or it will be coming to light in 2018. Some of you may get like some like crazy up in the air proposal of some kind of proposal coming to you. This could be a business proposal, but it could also be a proposal of marriage, because I get it like it almost seems like kind of crazy, like off the cuff. But as I said, it could be a business proposal. It doesn't have to be a marriage proposal, because some of you are already married or coupled. So the next sign I'm going to look into, as I keep putting these apple slices in this tart, is Leo. I hear congratulations are in order. And there's going to be something, Leo, that you set out to do that you finally have completed or succeeded. Maybe you got a doctorate degree or a master's degree, or you opened your own business, or you expanded some business that you're already doing. Because I get congratulations are in order for Leos in 2018. I also pick up Leos may be going to another country. Doesn't mean you're going to live there, it could be, but some of you may be traveling for your business or just traveling for pleasure, because I see many of you Leos traveling, and I really do feel like it's out of the country. That's my feeling. Okay, so I almost have this together here. Okay, so I'm going to then make the inside of this tart. But I want you to see, this is how it looks now before you do the interior. So what I like to do is make like a flower design. So you go over the edges where the apples meet. And this spot, it's really good to have the thinnest slices that you have on the table in front of you, because you want them to really be able to bend around the center. And now I'm going to show you how to make the center of this tart. So as I said, you know, I had lots of slices left over, but if you slice more thickly, you may use all 3 apples. You probably could get away with 2, but so you're cutting these more thickly because these are going to be in the center. All right, so I'm going to put these together like this, put one down, and then fill in the gaps here with these to build up. So it's nice and snug, because they are going to separate a little bit. They will open up a little bit in the center. All right. So that's what it looks like before you put the custard in it. And now I'm going to get the pan, and we're going to put it, make sure you have your apple tart on the pan and you pour the custard in it while it's on the pan. So I'm going to leave it here. Hopefully camera will be able to see when I pour it on there. So now we're going to make the custard. So what you need is a stainless steel bowl, a whisk. You need 1 egg, 1/4 cup of sugar, and a cup of cream. And you also need vanilla. Now you can use brandy and vanilla and make it a brandy apple custard tart, or you can use one or the other. So I'm going to add a tablespoon, well, maybe a tablespoon's too much, like 3/4 of a teaspoon, 3/4 of a tablespoon of vanilla into this custard. So you want the cream. You want the egg, and you want the sugar, And you want the vanilla. You know what? I'm going to change that. 2 teaspoons of vanilla would be best. That would be best. Okay, so now you're going to whisk it together here. And this is the custard for the tart. As I said, you could put brandy in it or vanilla. So that's as simple as that. The custard is ready. That's all you need. So I'm going to pour the custard in the tart, and what you want to do is you want to pour it right over the center of that flour you made in the center. You don't need to worry about spreading it around. The custard is going to go all the way around, but make sure you get all that custard in. All right, looking good. All right, so now you're going to bake it in an oven at 350 degrees for at least 50 minutes. Sometimes these tarts take 60 minutes depending on your oven. So make sure you set your timer for like 45, 50 minutes, check it, and then add up time as you go along. But 50 minutes to 60 minutes should do it. Try not to slosh it around. And off we go. I'm gonna put a timer on for 50 minutes, and then we'll check it at that point. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, I have one already made, and I can show you how you finish it when it comes out of the oven. Okay, so let's finish up this baked apple tart, and I will give you messages for Virgo. So what you want to see, here's one I baked before, so you can see how to remove it from the pan. So this has a removable bottom, and I'm just going to get rid of the pan over here. Now, the best thing possible to do with these is use another tart pan bottom to get it off if you want to put it on a plate or platter. So what you're going to need is a pastry brush, and to glaze it, you don't have to glaze it, but in the baking pastry business, what we always did is we glazed anything with fruit on it to, you know, make it look nice, shiny, and also to preserve it. So what I did was I took apricot preserves, 2-3 tablespoons of it, and put it on a high flame with about, I don't know, almost half a bottle of water, a quarter of a bottle of water. Let it come to a boil. So now it has like a nice, it's a little thick, but it's kind of runny. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glaze this tart before I put it on this pan, and I'm going to hear messages, psychic messages for Virgo. Spend your money wisely, Virgo. Don't be penny wise and pound foolish in 2018. I do see there's a lot to be thankful for, and you may become very magnanimous and generous in 2018 where you want to spread the wealth around. That's what I'm hearing. So, but be cautious. You know, you don't want to go crazy with the spending. A career jump is indicated for some of you Virgos, where I feel like if you're already working, I feel like something's skyrocketing to success, or a jump up, like a promotion or some kind of, you know, if you have your own business or some products or services that you sell, there could be a jump up with that in 2018. So that finishes glazing the tart. You can glaze the crust if you want. If you don't want to glaze the crust, you don't have to. It seals it all in, and then when it refrigerates, it's going to form a nice seal. So there you go. This is for the Libras out there that like the simple flavors and reminiscent of childhood. Instead of mom's apple pie, we have the apple tart. See how easy that lifted off? Wow. Come on, tell me you can't make that at home. You absolutely can. So all the signs of the zodiac out there, make sure you're following your passions in life, and then you'll truly know you're on the right path. Until next time. Thanks for watching The Psychic Pastry Chef. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're interested in getting any of the special videos I've recorded for my Psychic Pastry Chef Vimeo On Demand channel with more recipes and psychic predictions for 2018 for each sign of the zodiac, you can access these videos for purchase by clicking on the link below this video, or you can go to my website, www.thepsychicpastrychef.com, and click on the Videos tab on my menu. If you're interested in scheduling a private psychic reading with me, or purchasing any of the special videos that I record monthly for each sign of the zodiac for my Lucky Mermaid Vimeo On Demand channel, you can access those videos for purchase by clicking on the Videos tab on my menu at www.theluckymermaid.com and go to my order page online scheduling calendar for booking new appointments, which reopens every 4 to 5 months. See you next month.